Thailand passed a law in 2022 called the Personal Data Protection Act. Now, it's there's a lot of misinformation about what that law is, and it was never meant to protect suspects or to impede press. It was really meant for big companies and their corporate data so that they don't
Mm,
lose stuff like when you enter information at a bank or on a website to make a purchase, that they don't abuse your data. But
okay.
unfortunately, the law was a bit vague as it was written, as many laws are in Thailand. So because of that, identifying and showing somebody's face as a suspect in a crime before a Thai judge has stated that they are guilty can cause problems with that law and cause lawsuits.
Mm,
So that's why any licensed press, and you'll see this on Thai news all the time, will cover up suspects' faces in crimes unless a judge has released the verdict in the trial, or if the suspect has admitted to the crime fully. So if somebody is just a suspect, even if, and when I say suspect, because some people are like, oh, you used the word allegedly. Um, you said this guy allegedly stabbed somebody in the street. And then there's a video clearly showing the person stabbing someone in the street. But again, under Thai law, it's alleged until a judge officially states that they are guilty. It may be clear to us that it's guilty,
yeah.
but again, it's always alleged until a judge states that it's guilty. So that's one of the most popular questions is why we
Mm,
blur suspects. Number two, most popular question is why we don't cover a lot of what is happening after somebody gets arrested. If people say, "Oh, you don't do a lot of follow up," we do when we can get it. I would love to get more follow up, but the truth is, in Thailand and quite frankly in the U.S., I've heard this doesn't happen in the UK too much, but in the US and here, mediation is preferred to going down the route of court. And that's just a fancy word, obviously, for bring both parties involved in the problem to the police station or the court, sit them down in a room together, and have them
mm,
come to an agreement, financial or otherwise, to save time for court and officials and law enforcement. But a lot of times those are NDA private agreements that are between both individuals that they sign paperwork for to not release. Again, that's common in many other Western countries. I
mm,
don't think in the UK, and it's why there's a lot of stories that we can't necessarily cover unless I'm happy to cover stories of scams and things like that. But people have to file police reports. Police have to agree to release the information to the press. Um, Police here like a chance to investigate first. But so in many cases, no, we don't hear about it because it's private. There is no jury in Thailand, and the courts are mostly closed to the press.
there's no jury.
There's no jury. It's between 1 to 3 judges, depending on the seriousness of the trial.
Ah,
And the courts, again, are mostly closed to the press. So as a result of that, we can't even get in. And what's normally released to the press about a suspect in a crime is their initial plea, guilty or not guilty, whether or not they were released on bail, and then the verdict. And sometimes cases move faster here than people think they do because of
mm,
mediation, but sometimes cases take years and years. Another thing some of your viewers might find interesting is in Thailand, you'll often see with the news people immediately in our reports, and we've been asked, why did this guy immediately say, yes, I stabbed 7 people? Yes, that was me. I stole from the store. In the West, and maybe the UK, they almost always plead not guilty immediately. Is that right?
okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A good proportion. Yeah, you
Okay.
do.
Here, the majority immediately plead guilty. And the reason why is because in Thailand, with almost every case, minus some defamation cases, and I'll talk about defamation in a second. Um, if you plead guilty, your sentence is immediately cut in half because it's seen as apologizing and taking
Mm,
responsibility,
mm,
ties into Thai culture. Very different from the West. So if you say, yes, I stabbed that person, rather than get 14 years, you're immediately cut to 7. And that's usually cut further for good
mm,
behavior and for other things like that too. So that's why so many criminals, especially repeat criminals, it's got positives and negatives, immediately plead guilty in Thailand.
yeah.
Finally, defamation and why there's certain topics that we can't talk about.
Mm.
In Thailand, defamation can be both criminal and civil.
Can you
Um,
explain the meaning of defamation,
so defamation,
please?
talking negatively or ruining somebody else's rep, street rep,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
and that's not even businesses. That's anyone.
It's anyone, correct.
Anyone.
Now, how Thailand wants you to deal with things is Thailand has so many different agencies and bureaucracies and different paths to resolve things. And yes, they're slow, but they want you to deal with that. They don't want you to deal with it by posting, my landlord from my condo is an asshole and took my deposit. You can't do that in Thailand. And here's why. Because again, defamation in Thailand, number one, can be civil and criminal. In most countries, it's only civil. Here, you can go to jail for years. In fact, the criminal penalties, for defamation are actually worse than many crimes like assault, theft, robbery, etc., because it's treated that seriously in Thailand. Number two, and this is the tricky one that a lot of people not familiar with Thailand don't know, and I can't tell you how many people get themselves in trouble over this. Defamation in most Western countries is based on whether or not it was true. If you say something that was true, like this person, this landlord ripped you off, and it's true, and the landlord admits they ripped you off, then you think that's okay to post. It's not in Thailand. And here's why. Because in Thailand, defamation, and there are some exceptions, and it's eased up a bit, but overall, defamation is really treated in a court of law on whether or not you made a second party look bad in front of an unrelated third party, i.e., posted it online, told a huge group of people about your problem, etc. How they want you to deal with it is deal with it with the proper agencies or with a lawyer, with police, with legal, with various factors, with juristic offices for condos, whatever it might be. They don't want you to name and shame online. So yeah, that's a lot of people don't realize defamation can get you in a lot of trouble here.